Healthy goat is a happy goat.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Mike, and this is Jess, and welcome to Goodwin's Farm 207.
Today we're going to be working our goats. We will be giving them their copper bolus, their CDT boosters, and some other things that we do with our goats. We like to use preventative herbal worming, and so we give that to them regularly, and then we give them a big dose every 6 months or so. We're also going to be checking FAMACHA scores, so stick around to the end because there's going to be lots of good stuff on this video. One thing I'm going to say, when you're doing vaccines for your goats, don't cheap out on the needles. You get what you pay for. It might seem like a good deal to buy them in bulk on Amazon, but I just don't like them as much. So when you're drawing out the vaccine, it helps if you put a little air in there first. Point that in, shoot that in there, and then it makes it come out a lot easier. For CDT vaccines, which is what we're doing today, it's always 2 mLs. And with babies, you'll want to follow the instructions on how often to do that. But after their initial shots, series of shots, it's just 1 shot a year for a booster. Or if they end up getting hurt or cut on something, it's never a bad idea to just give them a little booster too. I like to try to have everything as ready as possible before we go work our goats, just because sometimes the goats are a little more difficult to work with. Alright, so today we're working the goats. We're doing deworming, copper, bolus, and their annual CDT. Hopefully you find this helpful. We do this, the CDT we do every year. The booster shots, the copper we do every 6 months, sometimes 3 months if it's really wet and their coats look like they need it. So hopefully you learn something. Anytime you're dealing with injections or any type of fluid from your goats, it's a good idea to have gloves on. It protects you from diseases and stuff that you might be able to get from them, but it also protects them from getting bacteria or anything like that. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. It's just the paste you put in her mouth. She doesn't love it, but she don't love much put in her mouth. We use Molly's Herbals for deworming. It works really good. This is the Wormwood formula. We're going to do a drench on her. Again, another reason to have gloves, because they have poop stuff in their feet. We do have a ferret come out like a couple times a year just to clean up everything, because we're not professionals at this, but we just try to keep things trimmed up in between visits. That, and honestly, we just don't have time to do it all the time. But it's been so wet this year, I want to make sure their feet are nice and trimmed up so we don't get any hoof rot or anything. It's all right, Tango. Pro tip, when you're actually cutting their hooves, keep your mouth shut because those little clip-ins fly everywhere. And anytime we stress the goats out, I like to give them some Nutri Drench. Just because goats are really sensitive to stress, and even though it doesn't seem too stressful for her, you know, just precaution. And it's just like a half a squirt in her mouth. She doesn't love it. She's got a fly bite on her head, so just put some iodine on it so it doesn't get infected. Should stop headbutting stuff. All right, 1 down, 6 to go. You go, Tango. You show where the animal cracker should go. Working properly. I'm just going to put it on the grain. Not as good, but this is more of a preventative than a treatment right now because they don't really have one. Shot. Again, subcutaneous or intramuscular with the Bolus head. Usually just like the little pocket here. And push it in slowly. Good girl, Rose. Good girl.
Champ.
Yeah, don't do anything to bring it. Cover Bolus. One thing to note is make sure you get the right type of copper bolus for your goats, whether it's an adult dose or kids dose. Make sure they swallow it. It doesn't do any good. She's notorious for not swallowing. Alright, she got it down. Hold that cover for me. Take a look at her hooves. We got the fair coming out next month, so I'm not really too worried about having them perfect anymore. I just want to check them for health because it's been so wet and rainy. Make sure we don't have any, thrush or hoof rot or anything going on. Yeah, she doesn't like this. Sorry, girl. Oh, I'm not a fan of it either.
Not that I'm the one to do this, but from my experience watching, having a nice sharp pair of clippers makes a big difference.
It does. So what you're looking for here is you want to check in between their toes too, make sure there's no crush. And really you take it down to where it's pink, but like I said, this isn't my favorite thing to do, so I actually usually hire this out. I just do the maintenance in between. Because you know, their feet grow a lot, but I'm mostly just looking for the big bad scary stuff. And I let the ferret do the real work of getting your feet level and all that stuff.
She's doing pretty good at that, huh?
She's everything now.
She's got plenty of grain.
She doesn't want it.
I don't think she wants the stuff that Dewormer is on.
Yeah. All right. Good girl. And then some girl, Nutri Drench, and then apple, and then hamburgers for treat.
Okay.
Another thing I like to do is check their FOMACHA scores, which you take one thumb, you put over their top eyelid, and the other one you pull down. Hers looks pretty good. I like it a little redder, but she's pretty good. I'll probably check hers again in a couple of days. Girl, she did a good job. I'm actually pretty impressed. Come on, girl. Go get your sister.
Tool's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, better than getting my fingers bit, like we've done for a few years.
Pill shooter.
Yeah, I know. You don't like to swallow either. All right. Here's some more green. Nutri Drench. Yeah, she did pretty good. Not giving him grain for a couple days, huh?
Come on. You can't go out this way. You have to go out this way. Come on. You have the same goal in mind.
Who's the easiest?
Probably Rose has been the easiest so far. Although none of them have been bad. Even Tango was pretty good this time. I haven't done the boys yet. I'm thinking they're going to be the hardest. Because they usually are. And they're smelly. Well, those are the girl goats. Those were the easy ones. So next are the boy goats. I'm just gonna get them up there. Okay.
I really don't want to pick up. Yeah, I might.
Everybody loves green. Just to show you the difference between an adult dose of copper and a young dose, juvenile. So just make sure you're using the right amount, because one, this won't be enough for your adults, and this is way too much for your young juveniles. So just something to keep in mind. Make sure you buy the right one and use the right one for the right age. Yeah, I know. Oh, you swallow. Boys don't have a problem swallowing, apparently. Come on, buddy. I know. I don't really like this either, but. Alright. So that's all right. Something to consider when you're breeding your goats. Check their feet too if they have habitual foot problems. That might not be something you want to breed into your herd. He actually has really good feet. Never had an issue with him, so I'm pretty happy with that. We had a buck once that had really bad feet, and we opted not to breed him because we didn't want that in our herd. All right, you gonna let me get your famacha? Huh? So again, put your thumb over their eyelid, push down, pull down. See that bright red? That's what you want to see. That's pretty near perfect for him. So no chemical wormers needed for him.
Well, she did most of the work and I just kind of supervised, but it's all done for now.
That's not true. He did all the goat wrangling, and you know, they actually did really good this time. They're kind of learning once they get on the stand that they get treats, so they do like that. Izzy was probably the hardest, but she's usually the most hard-headed anyway. But today we gave them their copper bolus, which we do every 6 months or 3 months, depending on how their coats are looking and what the weather and stuff's been like. We also gave them, we use a Molly's Herbal Dewormer. We use the Wormwood formula today. It kind of packs a little bit bigger punch where things have been really, really wet. And some of their FAMACHA scores were a little borderline, and I like the nice red perfect ones. So we'll treat them with that, check their FAMACHAs in a couple days. If they haven't improved, we will use the chemical dewormers once we do a fecal sample. But generally speaking, this does the trick for us. In fact, I don't think we've used chemical dewormers in over a year.
It's been a while.
For them. Yeah. We've been strictly with the Molly's Herbal. So I honestly wasn't sure it was going to work when we switched to that. But I'm a pretty firm believer that a lot of it is what you breed into your goats. If you have a goat that's constantly battling with parasites, probably don't breed that goat. So we do try to be selective on that. We also did their feet and made sure that those were all looking good. Like I said, we don't always do their feet. Usually we hire somebody a couple times a year to come out and do a really good job. We just kind of do the in-between maintenance things for those. And we also did some vitamins because, like I said, anytime our goats get stressed out, we like to give them a punch of probiotics and some Nutri Drench just to help them out with that. One thing to remember about FAMACHA scores is just because you have a low or borderline FAMACHA doesn't necessarily mean it's a parasite load. It could mean something else. Goats that are stressed will have lower FAMACHA scores. So although it's a good indicator that something's going wrong, still make sure you're doing your fecal samples, consulting your vet or experienced person to figure out what it is so you're treating them appropriately. But today everybody looked really good.
Yeah.
Hooves looked good, FAMACHAs looked good, and thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.